Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I am your host, Larry Csonka, and this is episode 25 of the 411 on Wrestling podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course, the 411mania.com website. And before we get into things, I just want to say a sincere thank you. You guys as an audience continue to be awesome. And honestly, I feel rather humbled here because I know it's such a crowded marketplace for wrestling podcasts, and especially one that's not ran by someone in the business. You guys continue to be so supportive, and our last episode where we, we spoke about the whole Jon Moxley and AEW thing and all that, and just broke it down, and his interview on Talk is Jericho was our most listened to podcast ever, and I cannot thank you enough for that. And I hope we continue doing well and make the show worth your time. Joining me today is a good friend, good brother, Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, how are you today?
I am doing well. I'm glad this podcast is successful in spite of me.
That's right. Somehow I'm making it work despite you and Cook now.
Yeah, you have me on at least once a week, and somehow this podcast is successful. I don't know how that works.
No, yeah, we're having a good time, and I think that's just the whole thing. We're having a good time. We're talking about interesting things, throwing out some good content. It's a good time, and yeah. And there's a ton to talk about lately, which is always good for us.
Wrestling is amazing right now, and
That's
it's
right.
going to get even crazier, and I guess August 31st is when it's going to start getting crazier.
Yeah, definitely a stacked day, and we will talk about that. And so we're talking about more Jon Moxley today. We're going to talk Takeover. We're going to talk about WWE versus the World in August, All Elite Wrestling buy rates, Takeover 25, and Super Showdown 2019. So to start us off today, Jeremy, I will shoot to you first, and I will ask you this question. Is Jon Moxley the biggest star in wrestling right now?
He's the biggest star to a certain audience. It's tough to quantify a star in wrestling right now, at least to me, because WWE has almost ruined the star market. You look at everybody in WWE, and there's no one where you're like, yeah, this person is like just this huge superstar that you want to go out of your way to see. I guess in their eyes, it's Roman Reigns. In a lot of people's eyes, at least pre-WrestleMania, it was Becky Lynch. If we're counting John Cena, it's still John Cena. Like, if this guy appears on your television, he's going to boost everything across the board. But it's really the company right now, and it's not so much one singular person. Moxley is now out of the company. He's doing fantastic, even though he hasn't wrestled a single match on his own right now with all these interviews. And he's certainly the most interesting and appealing wrestler out there to the hardcore market. I don't know if casuals or, if you put Jon Moxley on television, like if he just went back to WWE tomorrow, the ratings are going to stay the same. So it's a weird thing to me, just because it's tough to quantify what a star is in wrestling nowadays, because the term has honestly been devalued. And that's not a good thing. It's just almost a reality of the situation right now. So I don't know if he's the absolute biggest star. If we can count John Cena, like John Cena's still the guy. But he is the absolute biggest star to a significant portion of the market right now, if that makes any sense.
Well, John Cena doesn't count because he's never around anymore. But technically, you are right when you say John Cena, because
dare you? John Cena was just at WrestleMania.
I guess technically, yes, he was part of WrestleMania, sure. But no. Yeah, I guess when it comes to... Because when he does come back and he does work live events, he actually does move house show numbers, and he makes a difference in that regard. So he's probably the closest thing WWE has to a legit star. And that is in large part due to the fact of his longevity and the fact that he's doing things outside of wrestling. which adds to his star power. I'm not saying that to diminish from it, but yeah, it's just but I mean, in reality though, he's not around. But so I'll give that to you on a technicality in terms of WWE. And WWE in terms of star power just feels like there's nobody. Because as you said, and we've talked about this several times, it's all about the brand. Ever since the early to mid 2000s, when you had the stuff with Brock leaving, and then like you had Lashley leave, and some other things happen, Vince has been very hesitant to really, really, really dive in deep and make a big star. He's had John Cena. He's always had John Cena to a point. He's kept with John Cena, and that was it. And now, he's tried with Roman, and obviously not the greatest results with Roman. And it's just, I don't know. But in terms of Moxley, right now, in terms of, from someone that runs a website and runs a podcast and analyzes data and stuff, right now he feels like the biggest star in wrestling. You look at the numbers he did on the Jericho podcast, and then I'm looking at numbers that we've done on the site with the various Moxley articles and interview recaps, and you look at Google Trends, and then you kind of mix all that together, and then you see, he's in AEW, he's going to wrestle for AEW, he's going to wrestle for New Japan. And maybe star isn't going to be the best word, and it's going to annoy some people for sure. But I would dare say that there's nobody with more buzz in wrestling right now. And you have to have buzz and you have to have popularity to have star power. So I think to some degree you can make the argument that he is the biggest star in wrestling right now. And don't fucking hit me with your Brock Lesnar bullshit that some of you are going to hit. Just because Vince is an idiot and keeps throwing money at Brock to not move the ratings and to not really have a major impact on any metrics, because God knows he doesn't work house shows and live events to boost that. I mean, Brock is Brock. Vince likes having him around. He's a fucking toy. I have Brock Lesnar and you don't. That's the big thing for Vince. So, I think you could make the argument that Moxley is definitely the most buzz and possibly the biggest star in wrestling right now in 2019. And that is definitely a headline, even if you're not serious, even if you were joking, that you would not have thought of coming into this year, Jeremy.
I like the term buzz. There's definitely no one with more buzz than him right now. He had that buzz when he released the Moxley return video at midnight on May 1st. Star. Yeah, I think it's tough to just quantify that term in wrestling. I'm not even sure if I'm using quantify right, but it's tough to define that term maybe in wrestling right now because it's just been devalued. Like there's no one that's on the level of where guys were in the 90s, even where guys were in the 80s and stuff. But certainly to a certain market, to the hardcore online fan base, and even maybe a little beyond that, there's no one hotter than Moxley right now. But if he shows up, if he's just back in WWE tomorrow as Dean Ambrose, things really aren't going to change that much. And that's because I just think WWE's devalued the term. Here's one thing when it comes to Moxley and kind of how hot he is. First off, he's done a great job of just getting himself out there. He did the one interview with Jericho that blew up, and now he's done, it seems like, an interview with everybody. And that's all, any website can talk about. Everybody's pulling quotes from these interviews and whatnot and running multiple articles on it. And like, that's what you're supposed to do. And he's kept himself out there. WWE created a star for another company, essentially. And this is a credit to what WWE did with him, because you look at a guy like Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, he was released, earlier than Moxley, but kind of they could start their independent run at the same time. I mean, they were both on the Double or Nothing show last week, and you look at the positioning of those two guys. One guy was announced for this pre-show battle royal and whatever. The other guy comes out and he attacks the two main eventers, and now he's, a big part of their scene. Like, WWE boosted his profile as Dean Ambrose. They made him a focal point on television for 5-6 years. He was the world champion. He got accomplished many different accolades, and then they let him go, and now he's the hottest thing ever for another company. And it speaks to what WWE can do, but it also speaks to, one, Moxley being good at just creating that buzz for himself with those videos. Two, the positioning of AEW, because if Moxley goes to ROH or Impact, let's say AEW doesn't exist, if he goes to ROH or Impact, he's not getting this same kind of like reception and buzz. Like, neither of those companies have any buzz right now. It's just like, oh, okay, he's on the independent scene, cool. But AEW is looked at, rightfully so, as a viable number 2 option with the deals they have created in a short period of time. And 3, it says a lot about what WWE can do for, I guess, other companies, because they turn this guy into a quote-unquote WWE star for 5-6 years, and then he leaves, and now he might be a bigger star than anybody else in wrestling, including those in WWE. So it'd be cool if they could do this for their own company somehow.
He's definitely, I will say this, he's definitely a bigger star right now than at any point when he was in WWE. And that includes his run as WWE champion, because he's never felt more important. He's never felt more in demand. And people are going to think that this is silly, but like you said, if he went to ROH or Impact, there would be no buzz. I mean, he could have released a video, and the video would have been cool, and it probably would have ended there. Because like you said, it's like ROH can be good sometimes, but there's no buzz. Impact can be good sometimes, there's no buzz. But you go to AEW, which is a company that is basically born on fan service and playing to the fan base that has got them where they are so far, which is starting a company. And people really kind of don't think about that a lot. But besides the fact that Double or Nothing was a home run of a show, there's a reason why people wanted to support it. There is a reason why people have talked about it, a week after it was over. There is a reason, and that's because, like, when you watch WWE a lot of the time, WWE has their weird language and their buzzwords, and they're putting on their show that they put on 52 weeks a year, twice a week on Raw and SmackDown. And it's the big dog and all that stuff. And that's not a shot at Roman. That's not his fault. It's just, it's just the WWE lingo and bullshit on Twitter. Like, are you a sports entertainment enthusiast? No, fuck you. I'm not. I'm a fucking wrestling fan. God damn it. So it's like shit like that. But the AEW stuff is, it right now, it has that goodwill with fans. They haven't done anything to ruin it yet. Obviously, it's early on. I mean, everybody can fuck up, and it could happen. But right now, it feels like they're trying to give fans what they think fans want, and fans are being very receptive to that. Because there is obviously a large segment of fans that are either done with WWE or they want very little to do with WWE. I mean, I can't tell you like how many times a week when I do like the NXT and NXT UK and 205 Live recaps that there are a bunch of people that say like, I watch the pay-per-views just because they're on the network, but I don't watch Raw and SmackDown, but I watch these network shows because I find them more enjoyable than the main roster stuff. So there's a point that WWE has alienated a lot of their fan base, and I think that the 25% year-to-year drop in ratings kind of shows that. And the fact that after WCW closed, and Steve Cook and I talked about this on our Throwback podcast, that you had like 7-8 million fans easy still watching wrestling at the end of WCW combined with Raw. And then when WCW ended, those fans ended up staying away. And nobody expects it to be like 1998 and there to be, fucking 15 million fans watching wrestling, on Monday night. But it sounds kind of pathetic when it's like, it's barely 2 sometimes, or, it's struggling to stay at an average of 3. And the WWE said it just keeps dropping, and everybody's getting, cord cutting, and it's summertime, and, the basketball games are on. It's like, why is there always an excuse? There's always an excuse. But, like, if it's anybody else, well, why are you guys making an excuse for them in the news posts? So it's very frustrating. But Moxley definitely has done an awesome job. And for the longest time, I had said that, Cody Rhodes engineered the best WWE exit with the list and all the stuff he did. And he was very smart in how he got out there, how he cut deals with promoters, how he worked with people. But Dean Ambrose deciding to suck it up, Buttercup, and just do his best and work out his contract and everything, and completely avoid getting buried. I mean, yes, Drew McIntyre.
They were kind to this man.
Exactly. I mean, yes, he got laid out a lot by Drew McIntyre and stuff like that, but he was not buried. And, when he was done, I said I was completely shocked that they didn't bury him 6 feet under. And people wondered why. Why would you say that? Why would you want them to do that? It's not that I wanted him to do that. From a business point of view, anybody that has that kind of, that you made a WWE champion, that you made part of one of the most dominant factions in the company's history, that had that much TV time, you just don't let them go with like a fucking grandiose send-off like you did there. I mean, no offense, wrestling is a business. It's not the let's be nice to everybody club at times, and everybody gets upset when you talk about that. But I would have buried the fuck out of him on the way out.
Ambrose himself was the Talk is Jericho. I think it was that one. He's done so many, and they all run together to me right now. But when they talked about, WWE put out the press release of, his contract expires here, like that shocked him. And I guess because they wanted to get out in front of the story and control it. But by doing that, you're basically telling your audience, this guy is leaving. So when we beat him, this is why. And it doesn't have the same effect. Like that was essentially the EC3 effect. Is they could have made EC3. They could have made anybody. Like you get victories over Dean Ambrose. You have a good final last story against Dean Ambrose, and you beat him on the way out. And it's like, oh, that guy's kind of set up for a little while until they screw it up now. And instead, EC3 beats him. The crowd turned against it because they knew Ambrose was leaving and they saw right through it. And then Ambrose gets his win back, and we haven't really heard from EC3 since. They tried to put some heat on McIntyre. It sort of worked, but really didn't. And they've been so gun shy with McIntyre that I've given up on him actually getting a substantial push out of anything, because they don't seem to know what they want to do with that guy. And that's a shame. And then they did the whole Shield reunion specials and everything, and they really hyped that stuff up. Like Ambrose himself was confused by it, and it fed into it's a work. Like he's not actually leaving. Like this is clearly like, why would they do all this and if he wasn't staying? And this kind of shows that they didn't quite know what they were doing with this guy, even at the very end, because instead of using him to put over a new young talent or anything like that, they milked the Shield reunion to try to get extra money out of that and made him into a bigger deal when he showed up at AEW because people legitimately thought this was a work and that he was going to stay in WWE. So they botched this guy's like exit as well.
It's good shit, pal.
It's, you know, Ambrose has said a lot of things, but the whole like controlling, like Vince's obsession with just controlling everything, because that's what it came down to. He wanted to control Ambrose's exit of, yeah, we're not going to let this be a report out there and have that over us. We're going to put this press release out there. You know, we're not going to let you just go out there. We're not just going to have you sit at home and do nothing. We're going to use you down and do these Shield reunions, and we're going to put you out in front of the crowd to say goodbye. And Ambrose is like, I'm not saying goodbye to the audience. Like, they're going to keep watching. They're going to watch AEW, but I'm saying goodbye to like you guys. And like you could kind of see through it almost, because you knew what they were doing. They kept doing this stuff in hopes that maybe this guy will change his mind. Let's pair him up with Roman and Seth, his two best friends, and let's have them kind of talk to him and get him to change his mind and everything. And Ambrose was, I mean, he said he was set a year ago on leaving this company. Like this final couple of weeks wasn't going to change anything for him, especially when it sounds like he was talking to AEW and New Japan since I would have to, since February, I guess. That's when he shot those promos. So he was probably talking to them since February, if not sooner. Like this guy was set on leaving, and WWE made him, again, they're great at creating stars for other companies.
It was WWE's desperation to control the narrative and to try to desperately keep him that is ultimately that led to where we are right now. We're fucking still talking about Jon Moxley a week after Double or Nothing. He's done these interviews. He's about to debut for New Japan, which we'll talk about in our next show. We'll break down his debut at the Best Super Juniors finals against Juice Robinson. And there's a lot of speculation about the work he's going to do for New Japan, and we'll deep dive into that when we talk about it. But yeah, it's quite amazing when you look at it, Jeremy. And you know, speaking of Double or Nothing, I think that's what I want to hit on next is Double or Nothing has reportedly done 98,000 traditional U.S. pay-per-view buys. Now, going into the show, Jeremy and I will freely admit, and we can, I think we'll take an L on this one, Jeremy, is that we talked about the price tag, how it may be a barrier of entry for some people. But it's looking like they've done almost 100,000 buys on traditional pay-per-view. And that doesn't count buys on Bleacher Report. That doesn't count international buys through like Fight TV and stuff. This is just, you know, US, Canada, like traditional pay-per-view buys. So number one, they almost did 100,000 buys. Number two, they almost did the highest ECW buys, which was 99,000. Number three, they smoked Impact and ROH in terms of pay-per-view buys. Because I believe ROH's biggest was 30 to 40, and Impact's was something like 60, which was Joe versus Angle. So AEW does almost 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Jeremy, your thoughts?
I think it does include internet streaming numbers, so I think it does include the Bleacher Report stuff.
Not including. I was listening to Dave this morning talk about it on Observer Radio, and he said it doesn't include the Bleacher Report stuff. This is all. All right. Well, all cable and satellite.
He lied in the Observer then, because the Observer said that it's traditional and internet streaming. So
well, maybe I don't know what the fuck. God damn it, Dave.
Yeah, so he's one way or another. He seems to be wrong or you know, correcting himself on something. Whether it's true, I truthfully imagine it includes internet streaming, just because 100,000 for traditional seems, and if that's what it is, credit to these guys, because that's fucking huge. It's already huge, but almost 100,000. Just traditional is ginormous. But that seems a little hefty considering like how many people just have internet access and want to watch it online and whatnot nowadays. Either way, I don't know what assumption we're operating under here because we don't seem to have the complete facts on this because Dave is a little all over the place. But as far as the number goes, 100,000, it's a massive number. Yeah, we were both worried that $50 was a little bit high, and people still clearly paid for it. I do wonder, like, if it was $25, how much they could have done. It's almost like All In, where they sold out All In, but then you look at the gate and it was like 13,000, or I think that was the attendance, but the gate was like fairly low because the ticket prices weren't all that high. And could you have sold more tickets then and gotten more money out of that? So could you have lowered the price in this instance and done more buys? And if you could have, would that have equaled more revenue? I am not privy. Mookie Ghana would know these numbers since he works for them. I'm not privy to that stuff. I do wonder how it would have worked out if there was a lower price point. But still, 100,000 at the $50 price point is a pretty big deal and is certainly a significant number. It's assuming it includes the streaming, then it's not shocking that it beat ROH or Impact or any of these shows, because I think when Impact was super hot with Christian and Angle and Joe and all these guys, they could have, if they had streaming capabilities, maybe they could have done similar numbers. They probably still would have fallen short because it's Impact and they just screwed up everything. But they they didn't come close to this. And let's say it does include streaming, then you're still looking at 50,000 traditional, because I think in the Observer it says like it's equal number of traditional and streaming. So you're looking at 50,000 in traditional, which is still like really strong and still stronger than what a lot of the Impact shows were doing even when they were hot.
Exactly. It's yeah, I'm a little surprised, but I think it's really cool. If the 98,000 number, let's just play around, if that is just traditional pay-per-view buys and not online, and then the online is on top of that, that will be even more impressive. And I guess things will start shaking out here in the next couple weeks because, as we find out more, hopefully. But, yeah, they should definitely be happy with that to start off with. And again, I think a lot of that comes with kind of the fan service theory I was talking about, and the fact that when you're actually trying to deliver a product for fans, and you're trying to not alienate people and stuff, and you're trying to bring people in and just deliver, a lot of good things can happen because, and we're going to be talking about NXT coming up here, and a lot of the reason people enjoy NXT is because they feel like it's a product more designed for them. They don't feel like the shows overstay their welcome. The TV's simple. It's to the point. It builds to the pay-per-view matches. And then you get a takeover special, which just kicks ass all the time. And, it's hard to... you can't get frustrated with that because, I just want a wrestling show to be a wrestling show sometimes. And I want it to deliver and all that, but I will say that there is one thing that is extremely frustrating about the NXT Takeover specials, Jeremy, and that is that it's always a great show, and this weekend show was no exception. But the thing that pisses me off the most is that these specials and NXT TV basically are a glimpse of what the overall WWE product could be, but refuses to be. And someone's going to go, well, you can't just run it like a super indie. And they're going to bitch and, Triple H will run it into the ground and all this bullshit. Here's the point. WWE has an insanely talented group of wrestlers on their roster. Guys that aren't even being used that are fucking awesome. They have a warehouse full of talent. They have the deepest and most talented roster in the history of wrestling for the most part. It's diverse. It's just men, women, everything, tag teams. And then the reason that the NXT specials thrive is because every time I watch a special, you sit there and I just walk away with the feeling that worked because they were put in the position to succeed. They were put into place to deliver. Like, you sit there, we talked about in the preview how we were looking forward to Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong. How it looked like a great match on paper, stylistically and everything. And they opened the show with that. And they have a fucking great match. Just crushed it. It was pretty much, I think, what everybody wanted from the match. Hard-hitting, mix of submission work, hot crowd, everything worked. But that was the whole card. People being put in position to succeed. And I don't know what you think about that, Jeremy, so I'll go to you.
Let's recognize that NXT does have certain advantages. First off, 1 hour of television. I think we all can agree that 3 hours is just... Everyone knows it's too much. Like, everyone recognizes it. And that's why people love SmackDown a lot more, because it's 2 hours. It's easier to digest. You're not throwing guys out there. I guess they have been with Kevin Owens lately. But you're not always throwing guys out there too much. You can build a little bit more. Guys aren't quite as overused. You know, Daniel Bryan might not be on the show 1 week and then he's there the next week. Like, NXT does that same thing. Is you might see Kushida 1 week and then not see him the next week. Like, Kushida's not even on the Takeover special. A guy like Keith Lee, he's been in NXT for a couple months now, not on the Takeover special. Like, NXT has a talented roster, and these guys aren't even on television, aren't even on Takeover specials yet, because they just build them up, they let them sit, they give them a week off. Like, they make this stuff feel special. And Moxley, it's going to take me a while to get used to calling him Moxley over Ambrose. He had a very good point, and a point it's not new, but, you know, coming from a guy who was there every week and a top guy, he had a very good point. I think it was on the Wade Keller podcast that he did, where for 3 hour Raw, he basically just said, you know, they just retread the same matches. And how many times have you know, fans mention this? It's like, oh God, we're gonna get Lashley against Balor for the 13th time, or we're gonna get Rollins versus Corbin again, or, you know, it's the same matches, maybe with somebody new mixed in or something, but it's a match you've seen. Like, how many times do they do, like, oh, it's a Money in the Bank rematch, it's a WrestleMania rematch? Like, okay, you've just made these shows like less important. Like, these matches less important. Like, we're getting pay-per-view matches on television every single week, and it's tough to care when you see that stuff so often. And Moxley's point was, you know, instead of doing me versus Bray Wyatt 3 straight weeks, how about doing me versus Bray Wyatt 1 week, and then the next week you show clips of the match, you tell a story about it, we sit at home, and you give Tyler Breeze some time on television. And it's like, yeah, why don't you do that? Like, why do I need to see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins wrestle every single week? Like, why do the brand split has been so botched? And, like, why can't you just do this wild card rule? So now Roman Reigns, who was the biggest SmackDown acquisition in history, is still on Raw every week. It's so stupid. Build up people. Like, just rotate guys in and out. You've got so much talent just sitting back there doing nothing. I don't need 5 segments with Roman Reigns. I don't need 40 minutes of Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler. That was legitimately the open of Raw. 40 minutes of Kofi Kingston, some Seth Rollins, some Brock Lesnar, and Dolph Ziggler. It was 40 minutes of no wrestling, though, is the point. And, like, I don't need that. Like, let other guys get a chance to shine and tell a story. Not everyone needs to be on the show every single week. And everyone recognizes that 3 hours is very hard to fill, and you want to keep these guys on the show. You want to keep them busy. Like, they can be on the show. They don't have to wrestle every single week. They don't have to keep doing the same matches every single week. Put new guys in there. Let Rollins just show up as a pre-tape. Like, he doesn't have to wrestle that night. And then when he does wrestle on television, it actually feels like a big deal. I don't know about you, Larry, but when Raw was 1 hour way back in the day, and they would say, like, I remember it was Shawn Michaels when he was the champion against Salvatore fucking Sincere. And 2019 me would be like, well, this is a dumb match. Like, Shawn Michaels is easily going to beat him. There's no way they're going to put the title on Salvatore Sincere. But 1996 me, who didn't know any better, like, I was mad that I fell asleep before this match took place, and I could not wait to, like, go back and rewatch the tape to see who won this match, because Shawn Michaels was wrestling. And I was like, oh man, if he's wrestling, like, maybe he loses. Maybe they take the title off of him. And you don't have that anymore, because if Seth Rollins is just wrestling in the main event, it's like, all right, it's another Seth Rollins main event, and we get this every single week. So NXT has the advantage in there, and that's why NXT can feel more special. And that, like, but that is the frustrating part with WWE, is they don't seem to recognize these things. It's just, here's your 3 hours every single week. Here's your 2 hours every single week. It's a lot of the same. It's very mundane. There's nothing engaging.
Yeah, I get what, the point that NXT does have certain advantages. That, an hour of TV, obviously. The takeover specials are not 9-hour fucking pay-per-views. But again, these are all things that put those talents in a position to succeed. Do you know how refreshing it is when once or twice a year they don't start Raw with a fucking 20-minute promo? Do you know how much I love that? Because it rarely ever happens. Do you know what I would love for is to not see any more main events involving Baron Corbin, Lashley, and Drew McIntyre as the fucking Boar Horseman? I mean, I just can't fucking, like, rinse, wash, and fucking repeat, man. I can't do it. It's fucking killing me. It's zapping my life, my will to live.
This is what the brand split was supposed to be for. This is why you had.
We have the wild card now, Jeremy. It's good shit, pal.
Like, this is why you had brand specific pay-per-views, is so you could build stars and get more people on television and let more people shine. But then you didn't know how to actually do that. So you do the wild card rule and you fall back on literally the same one star that they think is going to boost everything. And no offense to Roman Reigns, a lot of this is not his fault, but he's not boosting anything. Like, he's part of the machine, and instead of being the machine, like they want him to be, like an Austin, like a Rock, like a Cena. Like, he is just part of the machine. And there's nothing more special about a Roman Reigns, honestly, than there is about a Seth Rollins or a Becky Lynch or anybody like that. And those are literally, like, the only three people on a level above everyone else in the company. But I don't feel that there's anything more special about Roman Reigns than there is, say, like Daniel Bryan. And when they come out, I'm engaged. I'm more engaged with Daniel Bryan, but I don't think anybody's, like, going out of their way to just see another Roman Reigns match or anything like that. It's just, you're supposed to have this brand split to just build multiple stars. And I did a big thread on Twitter of, like, how you could essentially create competition within your own company. And this is something they do literally once a year. Survivor Series, the one time a year when Raw and SmackDown superstars face off.
Bullshit! It happens every fucking week, twice a week now.
Yeah. Like, you could have created competition within your own company. Is like, oh, Raw did this, now let's see if SmackDown can top that. And, like, just getting more guys on there and, like, doing actual trades, like, run it kind of more like two sports entities. But instead it's more of the same, and everybody wants ratings. And so they rely on the same one or two people to try to boost those ratings, and the ratings aren't going anywhere. They're still
they're going
exactly
down.
where they're at. Yeah, they're going down, if anything, and that seems like an issue to me.
Oh my god, it's so goddamn frustrating to sit there and see all the experience they have behind the scenes and to see this roster they have and then to watch the general amount of bullshit that they put out on Monday and sometimes Tuesday. Sometimes Tuesday is better, but yeah, it's just so frustrating. I get so excited for Wednesday because NXT UK is at least solid, if not some weeks really good, and I enjoy the weekly NXT stuff. And 205 Live, everybody's like, oh, well, they lost all the really cool guys, but it's still at least a smartly done show, and still good at least. It's not super exciting, but at least it's good. I'd rather watch all that shit. I know it's only 1 hour, but you know what? That's not my fault. I'm not the one who took the cash grab to get the third hour. I'm not the one who sabotaged my own programming. I'm not the one who, did all that and it led to, spiraling down ratings and all that shit. It's not my fault. And I love everybody. The best one is I always love the can't you just have fun crew? I try to have fun Monday night. It's not my fault that the fucking show sucks.
I always love the comments of like, you just hate watch, you go in like wanting to hate it. Like, we talk about it all the time. Neither of us want to spend 5 hours a week watching bad shit. Like, there's so much good wrestling out there. I don't want to spend my 3 hours every Monday night watching bad stuff. Unfortunately, for both of us, we have to because it's part of our job. And whether we like it or not, WWE is the biggest company out there. And sure, I'd much rather watch like Uncharted Territory from Beyond Wrestling or the latest Progress show or any of this other stuff or bar wrestling. I don't know if you can stream bar wrestling or GCW. Like, some of that stuff is really good when I get a chance to watch it. Being part of websites, you more or less running a website, nobody's clicking on bar wrestling news. That's not making us money. WWE is, and so we've got to watch it. We've got to cover it. We would like it to be enjoyable because we do this because we love wrestling. It's no fun for us to watch this and not enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't like wasting time on Monday night. Trust me, I got a family. I have a new little kitten. I have a fucking awesome orange cat wearing a bow tie right now, okay?
I saw that. Orange Csonka.
I know, dude. I'm just saying, I have shit I could be doing. I don't need to be watching shitty Raw every Monday night except for the fact that I have to because it's my job. I don't want to be. I don't want the show to suck. I want it to be good. And again, people are like, well, you just... I love how you have one sect of people who say, I bitch just to bitch. And then there's another group who say, I'll give the show like a 3 or a 4, and they're like, you're too easy on this show. It's like, I said it sucked. What do you want me to say? There's only so many different ways I can say Raw sucks every fucking week, okay? It's not my fault that it's bad. But yeah, oh my god, I want the show to be good. I don't expect it to be a pay-per-view every week. But don't sit there and give me like 1 week there was like 8 matches and like all of them were like maybe okay at best. And it's just like, you know what? Maybe if you trimmed out like 3 of the really short matches and gave the time to a couple of the other ones and the wrestling actually felt a little more worth it, the show would have been better. Maybe if we didn't spend 20 minutes talking at 8 o'clock and 20 minutes talking at 9 o'clock and 20 minutes talking at 10 o'clock, and we could have done some other things instead of just doing that bullshit, maybe the show would have flowed a little better. Just spitballing here, but maybe.
It's Raw. If you miss a week, you miss 2 weeks, you miss 3 weeks, it doesn't feel like you miss anything. It's all paced the same. Everything feels the same. Everyone sounds the same. Guys come out to the ring, they stand in the ring for 5 minutes, like, hey, let's throw to this video package. It's like, can't you just run this video package before they go out there so they don't just look like idiots standing in the ring?
You're right though. Trust me. When I was in the hospital, there was a couple Mondays I missed because I was delightfully delirious on pain medication, and I ended up would watch like the next week, and I'm like, wasn't this on last week? And it's like, yeah, I'll joke about shit like that in reviews, but like when you're like actually missing a week and then you feel like that, it's insane. But WWE is just go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, and this is to Moxley's point of, you can do this stuff. It's good that they recap this stuff. I have no problems with that. The problem is they double recap everything because you have Seth Rollins coming out there and, all right, let's throw to a video package. And then Seth Rollins on the microphone tells the exact same story, like chronological order of everything we just saw in the video package. And then maybe he makes a new point. And to Moxley's point is just do the video package and then either get to the new point or bring out someone new or that's it. Like, you don't have to keep, it's just so repetitive, and they fill time with repetitiveness, and that's the worst way to fill time.
And that's the other thing. There's another point to this too, is the fact that I always talk about how there's like such a severe lack of good to great promo work in WWE. It's like it's like needle in a haystack. It's like you get some really good Daniel Bryan stuff from time to time, but like the problem with the WWE promo style is that you make these fuckers go out there for 15 to 20 minutes, and they're not cutting a promo; they're telling a story. And some will say a promo is a story, but what I'm referring to is, no, they're literally telling a story, like you were just talking about. Seth Rollins will come out and he will say, Chapter 1, Baron Corbin is an asshole, and blah, 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 blah. And he will sit there and recap the last 4 weeks of his issues with Baron Corbin. And then they'll show a video package, and then he'll come back and he go, and then I'm going to finally face Baron Corbin, and I'm going to stomp that fucker into the mat and keep my title. And it's like, you're not cutting a promo, you're telling a story. And the problem with that is, excuse me, is the overall promo style, because you're asking them to do this. And like, Moxley made a great point. He was talking about that if Roddy Piper or Dusty Rhodes came into the developmental system right now, they likely wouldn't be revered as the great promos they are, because they would be shuffled into this bullshit style WWE has them do, with people handing you scripts and telling you how to talk and everything. And like, my favorite thing to always bring up is, Jeremy, can you name me a great 20-minute Dusty Rhodes promo?
No, most of Dusty Rhodes promos were quick hitters.
That's right. There were no fucking 20-minute Dusty Rhodes promos. They were all like 90 seconds to 4 to 5 minutes tops. And that's because that's when people cut promos. And you always hear about, like, people have such a short attention span these days. Then why the fuck are we rattling on for 20 minutes in promo segments? Makes no sense.
That's to keep their attention, to recap everything. That's my biggest issue is, you're right. They're telling stories. They're sharing recaps. There's no new actual material in their promos. The best promos, like the most recent best promo work has been whatever Becky Lynch has been saying in the build up to the Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair match. The Orton and AJ stuff was really good because they had some history to play on. I think anytime you have like that history to play on, it's good. But again, you don't have to just recap everything you've seen for the last 4 weeks. Like, Orton and AJ didn't do that. They talked about years of work, and Charlotte and Becky and Ronda, like, that was a lot of yearly, like, build up kind of stuff. And Ronda wasn't good in a lot of these segments, but Becky was really carried on the mic work. And again, just years and years of frustration. That's the best stuff, is let the character tell their story, not the story that we've all been watching for 4 weeks. Like you watch a television show, they don't just recap, like they don't have the characters sit there and be like, hey, remember what happened last week when we did all this and that and that and that. Like that's what last week on this show, like that's what that little 30-second recap is for. And then you move on, you advance the plot with actual character work of, hey, maybe we'll mention this and that's why it relates to this, but there's actual development. There's no development with WWE stories. It's just, here's what happened last week. Now I'm going to kind of say this thing right here. Hopefully you cheer for it. And then next week, we're going to do the exact same thing.
Pretty much. As a reminder,
let's get to some good wrestling.
That's right, we will. As a reminder, you are listening to the 411 on Wrestling podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Please make sure to subscribe and share the show around, and if you have time, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Before we get to TakeOver 25, Jeremy, WWE's going to WWE. They're going to do some counter programming on August 31st. They're running the next NXT UK TakeOver special in Cardiff. And that day is also the same day as All Out, which will be taking place later that night. But it's also, and this is where I think WWE is making their big mistake, it's also the same day as the New Japan Pro Wrestling show in London, Royal Quest. And here's my thing is, WWE, their Triple H will tell you, we had this date booked before WrestleMania and all this shit. And you know what? Maybe they did. And this isn't even all about AEW or All Out. This is a strategic mistake to me. Because New Japan is running in London. They've already sold between 6,000 and 7,000 tickets for that show. The NXT UK TV tapings have not been drawing very well. And I know it's going to be a takeover, but I hope that they have a small building planned, because I don't know if you're going to fill a big building going up against the New Japan show that day. So August 31st, going to be a busy day. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, New Japan Royal Quest in London, and All Out. What do you think?
I don't think this is a direct shot at AEW. I do think it's more a shot at an attempted shot at New Japan. I believe Triple H when he says, and maybe I'm getting worked, but Papa Paul is friendly with the media, and it seems like he'll speak in tongues a little bit, but seems to be pretty upfront when it comes to this stuff. I believe they've had the date for a while, and they just now decided to announce it because, like he said, like, why are we going to announce this like 6 months out when it's this far away? The same thing with All Out. Like they had that date booked. They had Chicago. I feel like they probably booked Chicago on September 2nd after All In, and they're like, okay, next year Labor Day, we're coming right back here. Let's book it. And they didn't officially announce it until a week ago. So I do believe they've had that booked. It's just they didn't officially announce it because you want the timing to make sense, and this is the takeover special to do it because it's the last big takeover until the SummerSlam one. You're not going to announce it 3 weeks beforehand. So I do think that he is telling the truth in that sense. I don't recall when New Japan announced the Royal Hall show. It's been a while though. That's been out there for at least a month, maybe even before that. And I do think that they looked at that and were like, okay, let's go kind of competing with them. And then, All Elite has their show. It's not a shot at All Elite because that, like, their show is in America. This show is in the UK. Like, there's no direct comparison. It's also the fourth brand in WWE behind SmackDown.
Like, they're not even going to overlap time wise because this
exactly.
Takeover is going to run 3 to 6, and All Out, if it has a pre-show like the last one, will probably start at like 7.
Yeah, it's not going to overlap or anything. Like, if anything, it's great for wrestling fans. You pretty much just spend your Saturday watching wrestling. If you're married or have kids or something, so sorry about them. Because if you're a wrestling fan, they're probably not going to see you much that day. Yeah, I don't think it's a shot at All Elite. I do think there was some intrigue in running near where New Japan was going to run, and I agree with you that it's a mistake because New Japan is going to they're bringing all their top guys, and NXT UK, it is very good weekly television. It's easily digestible. They've got a couple stars. At the same time, it's, at least to us here in America, and based on what they're drawing for the television tapings as well, it's not super hot. And New Japan is going to do, and they've got the relationship with Rev Pro, which has helped them build up some equity over the years. Yeah, it's a mistake to try to think that they can go at New Japan with NXT UK.
That's right. So definitely going to be an interesting day at the end of August. We're going to get a lot of wrestling that day, and pretty much that weekend, because I'm going to have to probably cover that New Japan show on Sunday because of everything going on. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It should be a lot of good stuff. But I think it's a very interesting choice by WWE there, and probably not that good a one. But what was a good time and a very good choice was NXT Takeover 25, not Bridgeport, 25, brought to you by the National Highway Commission. And, you know what, Jeremy? Again, like I said, not going to pick against Takeover show till they have a shitty one, and they did not have a shitty one here. Great show overall, but we will start with Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. Matt Riddle defeating Roddy in 1450 via pin. Your thoughts?
A great match. We both thought it was going to be a great match. The right call to open this show. That's one thing that NXT does very well is the structure and the layout of their shows. They know which match is going to be super hot and like really get the crowd. Because we were both concerned about this Bridgeport crowd just because, you know, it's a Bridgeport crowd.
And hey, they over-delivered. They were great.
Yeah, they were great. And that's a credit to the workers because they put on great matches, but the crowd was into it and didn't just, you know, they reacted to everything how they needed to react to it. And so good on the Bridgeport crowd. But yeah, this match was you either open with this or the latter match just because you would think one of these two would be a banger, and Riddle and Strong was definitely the match that you go with, and that's what they went with, and it was fantastic. Matt Riddle continues to just be awesome. It looks like he's getting set up for a title shot now after beating Strong, and Triple H said it on the post media call is like, people are gonna look back at Roderick Strong and be like, this guy was fucking good, and it's true. This guy's very underrated. Like, we've been watching him since his ROH days, and I've been a fan of this guy since, you know, the Messiah of the Backbreaker stuff, when I thought it was just cool how he could just turn everything into a fucking backbreaker. And, like, he's been around for a while, and he's delivered more often than not.
He's easily one of the most reliable and consistent performers of the last decade. No doubt. I can say that with ease, and he's just great. But, yes, this was great, hard-hitting, sprint-style match, just under 15 minutes. Perfect as the opener, and the pacing was great, the crowd was great. I did like that Strong, obviously, is going to work the back to a degree with the backbreakers, but he worked the back and ribs, which was a really nice play on the parking lot attack, which he initially took Riddle out with. Home stretch was just really, really good. And as we just got talked about, Roddy is, to a point, he is greatly underappreciated. And it was awesome to see him get a takeover singles match, which we talked about last week. And Matt Riddle won with the Bro Derek. God, I love Matt Riddle.
He's fantastic. I'm excited to see him. I hope he shows up on Raw and beats up Brock Lesnar. God bless this man for trying to work himself into a match with Brock Lesnar.
I know. I hope he shows up and just kicks Brock in the fucking nuts and beats the shit out of him. It'd be great. But yes, Riddle is awesome. So next up, Fatal 4-Way for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Forgotten Sons versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. The Street Profits overcame, finally winning the tag titles, 21-45. Jeremy, your thoughts?
Street Profits definitely the right call. Like we talked about in the preview, it seemed like it was going to come down to them or Undisputed Era. And I'm glad it was them. Like you heard that pop for them when they came out. These guys have gotten themselves over in a big way. They're so charismatic. You can do a lot of different stuff with them with their act, and they've gotten better in the ring. So I'm glad that they got this moment. They got this victory. I look forward to seeing their title reign, because I think it can be really good. And it's tough to doubt anything NXT does overall. So I have high hopes for this title reign. Kyle O'Reilly, God bless that man. I don't know how he's feeling this morning. I can't imagine it's very good. This man nearly killed himself multiple times. Bobby Fish took some insane bumps as well. Those two men, they made this match work even better. And they were the stars of this match coming into it. They got plenty of shine in this match, and they're both so good. So God bless both of them for working through this match. Lorcan and Burch were kind of just there, and the Forgotten Sons were more or less forgotten, it felt like. They all had their cool spots. Everyone stood out in their own ways, but it was clearly a Street Profits and Undisputed Era kind of show. The Jackson Riker stuff went on too long for my liking. I understand if you want to try to get this guy over, and if it leads to something down the line, I'll be a little bit more forgivable of it, because if you're going to try to push this guy and have him mean something, or you're going to use him you're going to use this whole thing to build up somebody else, great. If this all means something, I'll be more forgivable. But as a standalone, it just went too long for my liking.
Yeah, I thought that killed a little bit of the momentum in the middle of the match. Obviously, the Street Profits and Undisputed Era shine, but and I thought everybody really got a chance to shine. But I will say Wesley Blake of the Forgotten Sons, God bless that bastard too. He took some really insane bumps himself. I thought he died early in the match when Undisputed Era they had the ladders and stuff, and then this fucker does a suicide dive and just about. I thought he was going to be stuck in the ladder. He hit it so hard. But yeah, he was really good there. And you could tell that son of a bitch was it's been so long since he's been on a takeover that he just wanted to, go all out. And hey, good on him. But really great stuff. Bobby and Kyle need fucking bonus, not only for their bumping, but I really felt that they were the ones that really held the match together. And then everybody kind of worked around them, and that's just that veteran presence, just really good at leading things and keeping it together and on point. And yeah, big win for the Street Profits, and it's a really cool story, especially for Angelo Dawkins, because it feels like he's been in fucking developmental forever. And just, he went through so much bullshit until he found until they did the Street Profits here. And just, so it's really cool to see him kind of rise up. And he gets forgotten a lot because everybody keeps talking about Montez Ford's the star of the team. And, he's probably going to be the one that is the big breakout in the stars. He's a freak athlete. And just, yeah, him and Bianca Belair are going to have, beautiful and freaky athletic children that take over the world.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, genetics and DNA don't lie, okay? Look at those two. They're gonna have beautiful athletic children with amazing abs.
That's most likely true. I guess it could go the other way, and you're like, how did you two create this? I feel like we're years away from a Bianca Belair baby. So yeah, I'm happy for the Street Profits, and they're a team that just might be better off staying in developmental. Like, there's nothing wrong if it takes you that long to get to this point in developmental. Like, you look at a lot of guys in developmental who it makes the story better. It really does. It's like that full journey, and like that's what happened with these guys, and I'm excited for this title reign.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them, but yeah, very, very cool moment. Next up, NXT North American Champion, the Velveteen Dream, defeated Tyler Breeze, shade under 17 minutes. I thought it was very good overall. I thought Breeze brought a really good fight, worked really hard, basically forcing Velveteen Dream to dig into the bag of tricks at the end of the match to retain. A little jinky and lacked smoothness in parts. There was one part where I think that they were doing a counter spot where Breeze was going to catch him coming off the ropes, but either Dream forgot or something happened because Tyler Breeze just enziguri'd the air. And at least commentary, Nigel was really smart because they talked about how Breeze was bleeding from his ear, so he lost his equilibrium and didn't know where he was. So commentary, again, a big difference from the fucking main roster. Commentary actually calling a wrestling match, paying attention, and weaving in things that make sense, and in this case, to cover something. But, yeah, just, very good stuff, and Dream hit the Dream Valley driver, Purple Rainmaker, and retained the championship. Your thoughts?
It was a little clunky in some areas. The spot you mentioned, the crossbody spot where Breeze hit the crossbody, and it felt like Dream was supposed to roll through and then hit the Dream Valley driver, but the roll through never happened. So then they kind of, I think they worked like a single leg, and then Dream hit the Dream Valley driver. Like you could tell they messed up a couple of things. And you're right about the commentary. Is every time they seemingly messed something up, they were quick to point out that Breeze doesn't have his senses about him, because he was bleeding, his equilibrium's messed up. Like Nigel was very good. Morrow is always very good at conveying the proper emotion. Sometimes it's too much, and I'm not a fan of his constant pop culture references, but overall Morrow is very good at his job. Beth Phoenix was there, I think. But yeah, commentary did a good job. The match overall it wasn't going to follow the first two matches. I don't think any of us had expectations. I told you on a technical level, I didn't think this match wasn't going to be like this great technical match. I was more looking for it for the character work, and I think the character work of both men were very strong, like the selfies in the middle of the match, Dream kind of doing his usual parading and whatnot, and then feeling the need to, all right, now maybe I need this title to try to, get one up on this guy because he's really pushing me to my limit here. And Breeze just being a very solid hand, like fighting with that sense of urgency because he knows I failed on the main roster. I'm back down here. I'm not coming back down here to just fail again. Like I want this title. I'm here to prove myself. So I thought the story of it was good, and the character work was pretty much what I expected, and the technical work fell more or less where I thought it would. Outside of they messed a couple things up. Dream winning, I'm fine with that. The selfie at the end, I'll see how it plays out. On one hand, I get that it's like a respect thing, and it makes sense. It's not like they had this bitter blood feud or anything. It was just, hey, Breeze is back. He wants the title. Dream's like, you're a failure. You're a knockoff. And, he still kind of played that up after the match of saying, like, you're not Velveteen Dream. But if you're cool enough to respect me and take this selfie, I will take this selfie with you. I thought it was in the character of both men. I want to see what it leads for Breeze, because I don't think he can come back and just kind of be like a solid hand. There's got to be more depth to that character moving forward.
I think he should have fucking kicked him in the goddamn nuts because he was pissed that he lost.
Yeah,
he came back to NXT and he gets a title match and then he failed right away. He shouldn't be taking selfies. He's kicking a man's nuts into his stomach and beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, so. I agree with that, but again, I will give NXT the benefit of the doubt because they've earned it, to where I will see how this plays out on television in the coming weeks. And maybe it's a slow burn for Breeze, to where he still doesn't have, even though he showed the sense of urgency in the match, like he still doesn't have that outside of the match. And then it'll slowly kind of start to come to him of, all right, I can't just turn it on in this match. I've got to be like, I can't just be this gorgeous person, when I'm not wrestling. I've got to be this gorgeous ass kicker who doesn't give a fuck about these people the whole time. Like, I can't just rest on, I was on the main roster and these people love me because of that. I've got to be more. So I'm willing to see how it plays out. But I do agree that it was a weird moment for that time.
Yeah, I hope that they have a good follow-up plan. Like you said, it's like I tend to trust NXT on things like this, and we'll see if it plays out well, and hopefully it does, but yeah. We then got a Damian Priest video package, which is the artist formerly known as Punishment Martinez, so he should be coming to TV soon, and we'll see what happens with him and how the gimmick works out. And then we moved on to the NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler defeating Io Shirai, 12 minutes 20 seconds via submission. God damn it, Shayna fucked me again because I said she was gonna lose, and I see it. Like I even said it, dude. I said I keep calling for it, and I keep getting screwed because I'm always wrong. I have no idea when she's gonna lose the title. It could be. I mean, yeah, it looks like they set up a rematch with the post match here, and but they had a very good match. I really enjoyed it. I thought the layout was smart, good work. Protective finish from for Shirai, basically, because they did the babyface kind of pass out finish deal. Shayna, I mean, I know there's a lot of people down on the run, but she's really, really good in her role. Her character is on point. Her work is really good, and she's probably the strongest booked champion, maybe in the entire company.
Off the top of my head, I was just trying to think of somebody, and I don't know, maybe R-Truth. He's kept that title for a bit.
He lost it last Tuesday and had to win it back. Damn it.
It was a 3-on-1 assault, and then he won it back that same night. It would seem to be Baszler. I really can't think of another champion that's come off as strong, especially for the period of time. Like, Becky Lynch has obviously been booked strong, but she's held the title for about 2 months now, and she did lose a match to lose one of the titles. So overall, she's strong. But no one's been booked as strong as Baszler. And I don't have a problem with her matches. I don't have a problem with her character. Though I don't even mind that this reign has lasted this long, because they've built her up as this badass, and whoever does finally get one over her is going to, it's going to be a huge victory for that woman. It does still feel a little long because there's just a lot of talent, and we're so used to, maybe it's that we're so used to these kind of quicker title changes that it just feels weird that we're getting a longer title reign. But they've done a good job with it, so I can't really complain about that. It's just more of a thing of, we're used to something. We're used to titles changing hands every 2-3 months, and here we go with Shayna Baszler, who's now on month, I think, like 8 of her title reign, and it's been good. She's been doing well with it, so I don't mind it. The match was good. The aftermath is another one of those things where I will give NXT the benefit of the doubt, because Io snapping and going off makes sense, except that she didn't have a reason to. And
she lost.
Yeah, she lost, but she wasn't like screwed over. And
well, she's mad she lost.
That's fine, and that's why, again, I will. I'm fine with that. Like, people should care about these wins and losses.
That's right. She's not taking selfies like Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like that, it's fine. But if you're presenting her as this like baby face, it's sort of a weird thing. And that's why, like, it wasn't a double turn. You're not turning Shayna babyface. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's why I want to see kind of how it plays out a little bit more. If it is like, I lost, I'm pissed, I'm tired of this woman, and the crowd rallies behind her, and is like, yeah, fuck that. Like, we're tired of her too. Go EO. Like, show that fire. Go after it. Cool. Then the story is told. The story is perfect. If it was a thing of, you know, I lost, I just kind of lost my cool, and that wasn't me. Like, I don't know. There's a couple ways they can go with it, and I will again give NXT the benefit of the doubt. This is like another thing of like, the norm is she would be pissed that the horsewomen interfered, and that's why she snapped, because she lost unfairly. Like, she lost fair and square, but she still snapped. It can make sense. It's just a break from the norm, and we're not used to that.
Who are you to doubt Stone Cold Shirai, my friend?
Listen, I'm not doubting Io, and I'm not doubting Papa Paul.
She's obviously distraught still over Kairi Sane getting beaten out of the company, and just overall losing. It's a horrible task on the mindset. But yeah, the post match was great because Io gets pissed off, gets a kendo stick, beats the shit out of Shayna, hits a moonsault, then grabs the chair, heads up top, and hits a moonsault holding the chair. It was great. And then the best part was, as Shayna lays there in a puddle of fucking goo, just not moving, the crowd chants, "You deserve it." Yes.
And that speaks to Shayna's like character work over however long. Is she is a heel. Like, you want to see her get her ass beat like she did. It wasn't a double turn thing where, oh, I feel sorry for you. And I don't even think it was a like kind of a Ronda Rousey thing where we just like Rousey was portrayed as a baby face when this thing happened with Charlotte, where it's like, yeah, we just kind of don't like you because you're being forced upon us and you're kind of like not a nice person. Baszler's character work is just amazing, and she's gotten everyone to believe like she is the biggest heel in NXT.
Darth Baszler, man, she's I mean, that's the thing too. That's and I always laugh. People get all pissy about the "You deserve it" chant, and they don't like it being used this way, and they don't like it being used that way, and blah 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 blah. It's like, you know what? I'm like, it's fine. Just first of all, it's the crowd. Let them chant at least during the show. But this was great though, because yeah, it was you have just like the evil heel that gets beaten down, and then the crowd almost mockingly just chants "You deserve it," which was so great. They then announced the NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, which we already talked about, and then it was main event time, and this did not start off good. Because they had some J-Brone rapping over Adam Cole's entrance music. And this was no good. And people got mad because I was pissed off in my review, so I wrote, "Some asshole is rapping over Cole's entrance and accompanying him in the ring, ruining my jam. How dare you call," and they were like, whatever his name is, "an asshole. He worked really hard to get there." And I'm like, well, that's nice. He sucked and ruined the song.
How dare you, the great wrestle and flow. I do really love the Undisputed Era song, and this was weird because like I don't have a problem this guy getting this spot. It was just, it felt out of place for Adam Cole. But yeah, I didn't mind his rap. I thought it was good.
Okay, well, you're horribly wrong, so. No, I just, I was not a fan of it. I totally dig the theme song and everything. It's just, I don't need anything added to it. It felt like one of those main roster things, like adding like the little gunfire shots to Ricochet's theme and the fucking creep to Aleister Black's music. It's like, this is really good the way it is. How can we fuck it up? And then Vince walks in and goes, "I got an idea. This is good shit, pal." And it was something really dumb.
It was Josiah Williams. Let's give this man his proper credit.
Well, no disrespect to Mr. Williams, but I did not like it. And it's not that he was bad. It's just that I felt it was a horrible addition to a great song. So
I don't disagree with that. It did feel a little bit out of place. But, gave Adam Cole an extra boost, I guess.
Sure.
Remember when I tried to turn Steve Austin's theme with the rock metal?
Was it the Disturbed theme?
Yeah, Disturbed theme.
Yeah.
Sometimes entrance themes are just good on their own. You don't need to add lyrics and stuff to it.
Yeah, there are times where some entrances just need to stay the way they are. And then there are times, like I've said for a while, that like entrances need change. Like Roman Reigns' entrance. They needed to freshen him up so bad when he came back, and missed opportunity, but what can you do? Anyway, main event, NXT champion Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole defeats Johnny Gargano just under 32 minutes via pin, and we have a new champion, Jeremy. Your thoughts on the title change and the match?
Not quite as good as the New York match, and that's not a knock on this match at all, because once again we're arguing like a quarter of a star here. It's just the story wasn't quite as strong, and so that hurt the overall emotion, at least my overall emotion in the match. The work was just as clean. The character work and the technical work was just as clean. I did like that there was no interference. We did have kind of the ref bump on the suicide dive, and there was kind of some shenanigans there. But overall, just a clean match with two guys busting their ass, and Adam Cole winning is fine by me, because Gargano is more of a chase guy, and Gargano is just a guy who doesn't actually need the title to be over. And the crowd loves Adam Cole. They loved him in New York. They loved him here. Like during the strike exchange, like Cole was getting the yays while Gargano was getting the boos. Like they really, really love this guy, and I can't blame him. He's been fucking fantastic since joining NXT, and I'm glad he got the title, because he's going to be very good with the title, and I'm looking forward to this run.
Yeah, in a way, the Adam Cole title win feels long overdue, because in all honesty, they really created the North American Championship because they felt Adam Cole needed a title. And the whole thing was they needed to let Ciampa versus Gargano play out, so he couldn't win the main title at the time. So that was really why they kind of brought that in at first, because they felt like Adam Cole's a star, he's going to be big for us, and he needs to come off as important, so that's what they did. So it's really interesting. But yeah, he was fucking over again big here. And yeah, I didn't think it was quite on the level of the New York match, because I love that match, and it's kind of in the clubhouse for me for match of the year right now. But I thought this was excellent. It had a great layout, strong pacing. I liked the work early on of the arm and knee. It was really good. It wasn't that like devastating work that like if they weren't selling full effects right away, people would bitch about. Because it was done early on in a way that it could pay off later on in more subtle and small ways, which it did, because that's what allowed Cole to finally take control at the end, where he just kind of went ruthless and was dismantling the knee of Gargano. Woof woof. Anyway, it's the big dog.
I have no clue what my dog is going crazy over. He's unhappy with something, and I tried to mute my microphone in time, but
it's alright. I don't care.
You broke kayfabe. I think there's another dog outside that's walking.
He's upset that Johnny lost, man. It's alright.
Yeah, it could be that. He's a Johnny wrestling fan. He does not like Adam Cole.
But I really liked how late in the match, Cole just went to dismantling the knee to the point that Gargano really couldn't stand. So you have the hot crowd, great swings of momentum. Gargano's babyface fire and selling juxtaposed against Cole's just desperation and absolute ruthlessness at the end. And yes, kick-ass, excellent match. They delivered again. And yeah, hard to complain about it.
One thing I will say about the ending of Takeover is they've done such a good job over the years making you believe that the show isn't over after the whole copyright graphic shows up, and that I didn't think like Undisputed Era was going to kick out Adam Cole or they were going to kick out Roderick Strong or anything like that. Like I truthfully thought that, okay, it's their time to shine now. Like it's these four. Adam Cole has the title. Like they've had gold before. They've had the tag titles and the North American title at the same time. Now they've got the big gold. And now like their whole goal as a group is to protect Adam Cole. Sort of like the whole Horseman thing is you protect Adam Cole, you protect this title, and that's your run. So I didn't think there was going to be like a major turn. But when they're all in the ring and when, you know, you hear inklings of, oh, maybe Roddy Strong isn't going to go too far. You know, Adam Cole's getting big babyface reactions. Maybe you turn him here and then let him be like that a babyface now. Like they could have done something here if they wanted to. And when they're all in the ring celebrating, even when that like final copyright graphic came up, I'm like, something's gonna happen. They're gonna turn somebody. Like something's got to happen here. I'm glad nothing did happen because I think the story will be just fine. But it's a credit to just what NXT has done over the years to where you don't know if the show is over when it's over, and it makes you like have to watch and pay attention even after the final match and even after that copyright graphic appears. And that's that's something that they've done that really, that unpredictability factor that like WWE certainly doesn't have on the main roster.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was kind of waiting because it seemed like they came out and they're celebrating, and then like the music's playing, and I'm like, is it? Are they going to do something? And then they just didn't, which was okay. Like you said, it's like you don't always have to do something. It's just the fact that there are people like us that in the back of our minds were like, are they going to pull something here? Are they going to pull a big angle? You know, what are they going to do? So, yeah, I think that's one of those cool things. It's kind of waiting, like, it's like when you go to a Marvel movie. It's like you're sitting there and there are those people that are smart enough to sit there because they know that there's an after credit scene coming. And then there are the people that after 23 movies or whatever still get up and leave. And then they go, what do you mean there was something afterwards? So, yeah, no, I think it's a really cool thing. And it's just the fact that we thought something might happen is, you know, it's just, that's kind of good enough for me. It keeps you kind of on your toes and keeps you thinking.
Yeah, and they've built up this equity to where you can do this every single show, where you have that inkling of maybe something happens here. And if nothing happens, cool. Like, nothing has to happen every time. But when something does happen, like it's a big moment. And then for the next series of shows, you're like, well, something happened here. Maybe it'll happen tonight. And it just makes you pay attention to everything after the match. It's not just like a celebration and then the show goes off the air and that's that. And sometimes like those moments are cool, but they've built that up, it makes the celebration feel more special. It doesn't just feel like, hey, this is just a celebration with his friends or whatever. You pay more attention to the celebration, you take in the celebration more, and if something happens, great, and if it doesn't, you still embrace that moment a little bit more than just, all right, Roman Reigns won the title, he's celebrating, we know nothing's going to happen, can this show just be over?
Pretty much. So that was NXT Takeover 25. Great show again. Takeover delivers again, Jeremy. It's just, we keep saying it. It's a broken record, but it's a great one to listen to again.
Yeah, until they have a bad show, you just assume it's always going to be a great show, no matter what the buzz is going into it, no matter what the card might look like. It's Takeover. It's like Triple H said, we let these guys go out there. And I don't know if he was indirectly speaking to Vince McMahon, but he just basically said, we let them go out there. We let them do what they do. And everyone seems to enjoy that.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to what we talked about earlier, putting performers in a place to succeed. And that is sometimes just the most important thing about wrestling.
It's not overbooked. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I mean, you get 5 matches and you still leave a lot of talent on the table. And sometimes, that's what has to happen. But that also makes the show feel special because you're not bloating it down with matches that it's like, all right, is this really worth our time and money here? And like all of these matches felt special. And yeah, and it's not 6 hours long. It's 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, and that's fine. So yeah, another great takeover event. The Save Us Triple H. The sooner Papa Paul is running the whole show, the better off everybody will be.
Yeah, so again, it's just another really, and the best part is there was the variety and everything too, is another place where they're kind of thriving in that. So coming up this week on Friday is WWE's return to Saudi Arabia, Jeremy. Everybody's favorite shows of the year to talk about. WWE Super Showdown 2019. They stole the name of the Australian show from last year because
the fact that they couldn't come up with anything, they just removed the hyphen and combined Super and combined Showdown. Like, are y'all that lazy right now?
Yeah, I'd say they are, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess Sweet Saudi Money 3 or We'll Do Anything for $50 million would be a little too revealing a title for the show, but what are you gonna
do? You gotta come up with something, guys. Like, enter something into a random name generator. Play a Total Extreme Warfare where they you can suggest a name and they'll give you a pay-per-view name. Just something. Like, it's the epitome of lazy that they can't even come up with a new name for this show that they haven't used since October. Like, they used Super Showdown in October and now they're using it for this. I think their goal is so when people Google this, they actually get the Australia show and they're like, oh, they're not going back to the unknown city or country of Saudi Arabia. They're going to Australia. Good on them.
This show is taking place in parts unknown, I'll have you know. And so we're going to start off. We have a 50 Geek Battle Royal to kick things off. And this will be everybody on the show that has nothing to do. Probably a bunch of the 205 Live guys. They'll probably bring in some random NXT guys again, like Babatunde and Dan Matha, and maybe we'll get that fake Yokozuna guy again. And, fuck, you know what? Let's put the 24/7 championship on the line here, too. What the hell?
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Like, R-Truth is probably in this thing, right? He's not doing anything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to pin him in the middle of this match, even though it's a battle royal. And it is a battle royal. Are they putting are they going to do World War III style? They got 3 rings for this?
They're sticking 50 fuckers in the ring and ringing the bell, and then within the first 30 seconds, they'll be down to 40.
Yeah, you would have to, because guys aren't moving too much in a 50-man battle royal. Like, there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver there. It's gonna be a cluster. The only 2 names in it are Ricochet and Cesaro, I think. Like, they haven't even announced who the fuck is in this thing, so I don't know who's supposed to win this match, or even whoever's even involved in it. Like, I don't know. So Samoa Joe wins. Why not?
Battle Royals tend to suck. And you're sticking 50 fuckers in here. And then you can't expect them to do anything with the winner. Because they had Braun win the 50-man greatest Royal Rumble ever, and they didn't do shit with him.
Dude, they did that. That led to nothing. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal leads to literally nothing every single year. The women's battle royal. I remember Carmella won that thing this year. Like, what has she done? She's still R-Truth kind of sidekick and helping him out. Like, these battle royals, they're literally a way to just get everybody on the show. There's no stakes or meaning to any of them.
Number one, I'll tell you what Carmella's done since winning that match at WrestleMania. She's looked fine. And
well, she didn't need to win. She did not need to win the match to do that.
This is true, but she looked fine. And I'm glad that she's back to wearing the two-piece because girl has some great abs, and you can't be hiding that. I'm just saying, you know. So anyway, who the fuck knows who's going to win? I'm going to say that some relic collecting a check like Big Show, Kane, or Mark Henry comes back and wins.
Sure.
So, Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party. You know, I don't know if it's the smartest idea to have a guy who was accused of making a bunch of racially insensitive comments online come back and do his first feud with a bunch of Mexicans.
Yeah, Kalisto's shooting on him, too.
No. Let's get fucking Sin Cara involved in this, too.
Lars would be really fucked if Sin Cara gets in there.
So, yeah, Lars is going to kill the little Lucha guys. I'm sure they'll get in a couple high-flying moves, but they're here to pinball around and make him look like a monster. And yeah, it's Lars.
Nothing wrong with that. Like they're high on Lars. Personal history aside, because it seems like many in the company have forgiven him from everything I've read about the situation and kind of have heard that's been reported and whatnot. He seems very remorseful, and he has changed. It was obviously a stupid thing to do, but he seems more remorseful and regretful than say like Hulk Hogan. So I will put that aside. I will just look at him as a character on WWE television right now, and they're obviously booking this man very strong, and he'll probably squash these guys.
Next up, the best in the world, Shane McMahon versus the big dog, Roman Reigns.
Fuck this match.
Yes. You know, Jeremy, in the year of our Lord 2019, Shane McMahon has somehow managed to be in matches on the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, WrestleMania, and Money in the Bank pay-per-views.
Dude, he's getting television victories, too. Like, this man just pinned an Uso the other week.
I know. Who the fuck besides Vince thinks this is a good idea? I don't see the purpose or appeal of Shane McMahon in 2019. I really don't.
I don't even know if Shane McMahon sees the purpose or appeal of him. His promo on, I don't remember if it was Raw or SmackDown because of the wild card rule. I think it was the Shane McMahon appreciation. That was on SmackDown. He just felt like he did not give a fuck about any of this. And like, that's the worst, is you got this guy who we know why he's in this position. He shouldn't be in this position. And like, even he doesn't care to deliver these lines with like any sense of emotion or conviction. He's just going out there. He's like, I know this is bad. I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep doing it. And like, dude, you're the boss's son. Like, just say something. Go away again. Like, remember when you left for all those years? And I'm not saying the television was better, but at least it was one less McMahon on our television. And in Roman Reigns, like, there was hope when he came back because, all right, maybe they'll do something different with him now. Like, this is a chance for a nice reboot for Roman Reigns to show a little bit more personality, to show a little bit more vulnerability in there. And it's like, no, he's just Roman Reigns again. Here's a feud with an authority figure, and the people the authority throw at him. It's the same nonsense. And it's like, dude, this worked once big time 20 years ago. Maybe it worked to a smaller extent since then. This can't be your only idea. And this is legitimately their only idea of how they think a star is supposed to be created. And no one cares. Like, no one needs to see the McMahons get beat up anymore. We've seen it a million times. It's not fresh. It's not exciting. They seem bored by it. The crowd is bored by it. It doesn't work for anybody. I assume Roman wins because he should. If Shane wins, I think it'd be funnier if Shane wins. Like, fuck it. Just put the world title on this guy.
I think there's a chance that Shane wins because apparently at Extreme Rules, they're supposed to do, like, Roman versus Shane and, like, Drew McIntyre. So I could see Drew getting involved and fucking over Roman. But, I mean, Roman should really win. I mean, I don't care if 800 people come out and beat the shit out of Roman. Shane McMahon should not be winning.
It's going to last too long, too. Like, Shane's going to kick out of, like, a spear and a Superman punch.
Shane, baby, yeah.
Yeah. I hope Shane goes for his coast-to-coast and gets speared out of midair again.
And gets another concussion like he did in Survivor Series one year.
Yeah, he's just dead, and there's no possible way of him kicking out because he's just fucking cut in half. I don't want to see this match. You know, if it ends in 30 seconds, Superman punch, spear, match over, I will have no issues with this because that's how it should go.
5 stars if that's the case, man.
If Roman has to sell for this dude, give me a break.
Yeah. Not looking forward to it either. Next up, Intercontinental Champion, The Demon Finn Balor versus Andrade. These guys have had some really good outings on TV, but for me, the problem here is they've already said that it's going to be the Demon. And the Demon usually means short and decisive matches, which means Andrade's probably not going to get a lot here. They're not going to have a great back and forth match. And this is a card that really could use a potentially great 12 to 15 minute match, which Balor and Andrade could give you, which is likely not happening. My guess is that the Saudi Prince is a big fan of the Demon, and that's why we're getting them here. So Finn should win.
Yeah, Finn will win because once you announce that it's the Demon, you've kind of given away the result. I suspect Andrade will get something in because, I mean, they gave Lashley some offense at...
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is it's still going to be short. It's not going to go past 5 minutes.
Right. And yeah, this should be a match where you get like 15 minutes, you let these guys just go out there and produce, and it's not going to be that. It's going to be kind of every single Demon Finn Balor match, it feels like. I mean, the Demon did have longer matches in NXT. They haven't done that on the main roster yet, and I'm not sure if they will unless he had the long match against Seth Rollins, which was the title match. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go overly long, and that's a shame, and Balor will win, and then he can get drunk again. You see this man on Twitter this weekend?
I did see that, yes.
Drunk off his ass with his new girlfriend. This man is living his best life right now.
I know, living the life. Good brother Finn Balor, man. Nothing wrong with that. So next up, we got Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Hoss Daddy match between two guys that are just in a fucking holding pattern.
Yeah, I don't care about Braun Strowman or Bobby Lashley. Lashley's return has been just about the most disappointing thing you could think of. And Strowman, we've discussed his push/non-push many times. Like, this guy was at one point the hottest thing in the company. They failed to pull any type of trigger on him. They sacrificed him to Brock, and he hasn't been the same since.
Excuse me, he won the greatest Royal Rumble of all time ever.
That and the fucking Andre Geek Battle Royal. Like, he's won 2 Royal Rumbles / Battle Royals in the last year, and I mean, look where he's at. He's in is this a feud? Like, it's just, here's Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. I really don't recall if they've interacted on television.
I think it's just because of the fucking spillover from all those horrible 6-man tags. With, like, the Boar Horsemen and random baby faces. Yeah, I don't.
I assume Braun wins because they have higher hopes for him than Lashley. Like, Lashley is just a dead cause at this point. Strowman, Strowman, they can heat up when they want to. It's just
So we
they
can lose
never.
to Brock again, yeah.
Yeah, it's just they never want to go. They never want the fire to get too big with it.
In a match that has been hyped up to a ridiculous degree on TV, because WWE wants you to think that this is some epic fucking feud. Triple H versus Randy Orton. We talked about on the last podcast, we were talking about Triple H matches and how it feels like eons ago since we've had a quality Triple H singles match, which was probably the Dean Ambrose match at that Roadblock pay-per-view. And ever since then, he's been putting on WrestleMania stinkers and sweet Saudi money stinkers with like Taker in Australia and Saudi Arabia, and just drug Shawn Michaels out of retirement so he could tear his pec and have a shitty match. And yeah, and again, there was a time where Triple H was just really, really good and really, really smart. And I think he's really, really smart, but for some reason he still thinks it's 2000 and that he can work his 25-minute Ric Flair tribute matches. He can't.
You know what was a good Triple H match that happened in the last year and a half?
I'm waiting.
The John Cena match from the first Saudi show.
Oh, yeah, that was actually a good match. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, and it was a good
one.
match. Yeah, it was a good match because they opened the show. They went like 12, 15
they worked
minutes.
A house show match, man. Yeah, it was fun as hell.
Yeah, they just kind of got their shit in, and then they got out of there, and that was that. I hope this is the same kind of match because we don't need the Triple H epic. Those suck. I think because it's not going to be, I don't think it'll be the main event. I don't know what the fuck the main event of this show is. But because it won't be the main event, maybe. If it's the main event, we're all fucked. Triple H is smart to where he's working the main or he's working the open. So if this opens the show, I think it might actually be halfway decent in that it'll be simple, it'll be short, they'll just kind of do what they need to do, and that'll be that. If it's the main, we're all fucked.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, and I did. I forgot about that Cena match because I try to wipe these Saudi shows from the memory as soon as I'm done with them. But yeah, that was actually a good match. You're right. I stand corrected. So I hope that
doubt the greatness of Triple H.
I hope this is short and something like that Cena match as well. Randy Orton should win, and we will move on. Goldberg versus Triple H, versus The Undertaker, a match everybody wanted like 15 years ago. Yeah, I know.
That'd be Sweet Saudi Money 4, Goldberg and Triple H.
Oh God, I hope not.
It's coming.
Yeah, so Goldberg versus The Undertaker, Jeremy.
Sure. It's I don't know what to say about this match. Like, it won't be good if it lasts long. I hope it doesn't last long. Like, The Undertaker can barely move. Goldberg is fine in like short sprints, and the Brock match at WrestleMania was much better than anyone thought it was going to be, and it was a quick, like, hard hitting, like 6, 7, 8 minute match, and it was fine. The Undertaker doesn't need to be taking those bumps like Brock did, and Goldberg doesn't need to be taking too many bumps either. Just hit a spear, hit a jackhammer, hit a kick out, hit a tombstone, kick out, hit another jackhammer, and then Goldberg wins. I don't know. Keep it short. The result doesn't matter because these guys aren't going to show up again until the next Saudi show. So whatever. It'll be fun for the nostalgia fans out there. I was a huge Goldberg fan, and then it's been 20 years, so it's tough to like still get wax poetic about this guy, especially when you come to find out he's not like a great wrestler. As a kid, he was super impressive, but nowadays it's like, all right, yeah, that guy wasn't all that good. I long stopped caring about The Undertaker, and I was never a big Undertaker fan in the first place. And yeah, I long stopped being like, oh, it's really cool to see The Undertaker. Like, whatever. This guy shows up on all of these shows nowadays and turns in these terrible matches. So I don't care about this match. I hope it's short.
Yeah, it's short. You know what? I'd just fucking have Goldberg win, and then if you want, you could rematch him at the next Saudi show. Like you said, who cares? Keep the prince happy, collect your paycheck, get the fuck out of there. Just try not to put on a completely shitty show for me. That's all I ask. WWE Champion Kofi Kingston defending against Dolph Ziggler because Kevin Owens said, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia.
So they called upon Dolph Ziggler. You knew when Dolph Ziggler attacked Kofi, you knew the promo he was going to cut. Everyone knew the promo he was going to cut.
It's all about me. It's all about Raven.
It's the whole, it should have been me, should have been my spot. Like, this is the same story they've been telling with this dude for years now. Like, it's my last shot. It's, it should have... I should have been the champion. I should have been in that spot. It's the same nonsense with this dude. And I don't even dislike Dolph as a performer. I think he puts on good matches. I think this match will actually be good because they'll get time and Dolph will work hard and Kofi always works hard. So I don't think the match will be all that bad. It's just Dolph was never a huge star. But because he's been around for a while and he's been away, he comes back and he gets treated like a bigger deal than he actually is. And that's, again, an issue with the WWE star making system is I think in a different universe, Dolph could be a big star when he comes back for these appearances. He could be very Jericho-esque in coming back when he does, but they never allowed him to get to that level that they allowed somebody like Chris Jericho. And so when he comes back, it's really just, it's low rent Chris Jericho. One, because he's not as good. Two, because it's literally the same character he always played. At least Jericho reinvented himself. Dolph is just, it's the same fucking guy every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine for a replacement match for the Owens thing. I think the comeback, the return came off pretty well, but it's just like, it's like, this is like, and they haven't had a match for a while, but like, they've had like well over 20 singles matches, and it's just like, I'm not, over the years, and I'm just like, not really looking forward to it. I'm sure, like you said, it'd probably be good. Kofi wins. Hope he beats the shit out of him with a plate of pancakes at the end.
But this adds to the story, and all right, it was the promo we all expected. Like, they did have the feud a long time ago, and they had a long series of matches, and you kind of see where their careers went. Dolph stayed pretty much on that same level. Kofi was down, got picked up by the New Day, and now is at the top of the ladder. And so the story of Dolph being like, that should have been me. We were neck and neck. Like, how did you surpass me? Even though, in his mind, like, I worked harder, I was getting the bigger pops and everything. I want that spot. It all makes sense. The problem is it's just the same story they've told so many times with Dolph Ziggler that it's like, maybe these other guys keep getting that spot over you because you're just not as good as you think you are. And because you haven't been presented in that way, we don't have a reason to care about you on that level. And like that's just what it is. I think this match will be good, assuming it gets the time, because Kofi's great. Dolph works hard. They have some history to play into, and it'll be that. It's just, it's Dolph Ziggler in 2019 doing the same act he was doing 10 years ago. And it wasn't a star-making act. It wasn't a big deal then. Why am I supposed to believe it's a big deal now?
Because it's good shit, pal.
It's Dolph Ziggler. He's done very well of just knowing when to kind of go away, and then he comes back and he makes himself feel like a bigger deal. Because if he was there on television every week, it'd just be like, okay, yeah, it's Dolph Ziggler, whatever. But because he kind of goes away and comes back, it's one of those. It's one of those things where Vince just likes you more when you've had time away. Maybe he should do that with all of his guys, is give them a month off.
And finally, we come to Universal Champion Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin.
Here we go.
Keep in mind, we are recording this on Sunday, and Brock Lesnar is allegedly cashing in his Money in the Bank on Monday's Raw.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that Money in the Bank title. Corey Graves doesn't know. Like, I don't think anyone knows. I'll say this about, first off, you can't headline the show with this. My God. I will say this about Baron Corbin, and it's something I said after WrestleMania. If you're going to give this man that win over Kurt Angle, you better have a good follow-up with him. Don't just bury him and just have him mean nothing and have that win mean nothing. And to their credit, they've had a good follow-up with him. We can argue all day about Baron Corbin being the guy, not being the guy. He's not. He's boring. He plays his character very well. I don't care to watch him wrestle for more than 2 minutes. But I will give them credit in that they've pushed this guy like a big deal after giving him that Kurt Angle win. And that counts for something, because at least they've tried to make this guy out to be like a star, even if he's not the star we are all wishing upon. The whole Money in the Bank thing kind of complicates this, because it almost feels like Brock will get added to this match, or Corbin will get taken out of this match, or I don't know. Like, that's something that's got to be settled on Monday, I guess. As it stands, Baron Corbin's not beating Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I kind of have the feeling that because Brock has been advertised for this card, I kind of have a feeling we get the average Rollins versus Corbin match, and then they have Boombox Brock cash in Saudi to make the Prince happy and give him his $50 million worth.
Yeah, Brock's been advertised, and I mean, unless he's going to win the Battle Royal. AJ is also like on the poster, but he's hurt. Maybe he gets thrown in the Battle Royal as well. Like, Brock is appearing in some capacity on this show. We know that much, and we just don't know how he's going to be added just yet. Like, they're not going to waste him in that Battle Royal. So it would make sense of he either gets added into this as a triple threat thing after something happens on Raw, or, as you said, he waits till the end of this match and cashes in.
Yeah, so who knows what they're going to do, but we'll see what happens, and that's going to kind of wrap up.
Wait, I have one question for you.
Okay.
One question. Is this show bigger than WrestleMania?
It's bigger or is equal to than as WrestleMania, they say. That's what Michael Cole has been telling me every week. And God knows Michael Cole would not lie to us.
How stupid is it necessary to do that?
You know what they should do Monday? They should have Michael Cole come on and be like, WWE Super Show. Listen, we're going to be really fucking honest with you. We're only doing this show because we make $50 million and it's technically a bigger revenue than WrestleMania. That's the only reason we're hyping it. It's our little secret. We know you guys hate the Saudi government and the whole genocide and killing people thing. But if you watch the show, we'll try not to ram it down your throat. Thanks.
Like, advertising it as greater than or equal to WrestleMania, just it devalues WrestleMania, and it truthfully devalues this show, because you can't look at this card and tell me like, oh yeah, this is like on the level of a WrestleMania. Like, you've got matches thrown together in 2-3 weeks. You've got matches with no build. Your Universal title match features Baron Corbin. Like, the women aren't on the fucking show. Your WrestleMania was just headlined by 3 women, and they're not even allowed to make the flight over to the country to perform on this show. Like, it's so disingenuous. And I know it's the wrestling business. I know it's lying, but this is why people have problems with WWE and just kind of their whole culture, is because they do shit like this. Just don't say it. Like, I don't think the Saudis are going to be upset if you don't promote this as being greater than or equal to WrestleMania. If you just promote this as, hey, it's a big show, then they'll be fine. Like, don't say it. What do you have to gain by saying this?
Listen, I don't know why you're up in arms about the women not being on the show. They let Renee Young go there last year, and they're letting some women folk drive over there in Saudi Arabia, my friend. The propaganda videos told me so.
You can only create change if you go over there.
Yeah, well, what the fuck ever. I don't know. Anyway, so that'll wrap us up for today. Jeremy and I will be back later this week. We will review the Best of Super Junior Finals, and we will preview the big Dominion show this weekend. Jeremy, I have a gigantic prediction for Dominion. I might have worked myself into a shoot, but it's going to be big. If I come through with it, I will take the biggest victory lap ever. But we'll see what happens. We will talk about that. Moxley debuting on Wednesday. And then big stuff with Jericho and Okada and Big Tom Ishii and Taichi on Sunday, as well as Ibushi and Naito in a rematch, who have already had 2 top-tier Match of the Year contenders. So a lot of good stuff to look forward to. And like I said, we will review the finals and preview Dominion later this week. Thank you for
Shingo
joining
and
us.
Ospreay on Wednesday.
Yeah, so that's what it's looking like. So remember, you can follow the 411 On Wrestling podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Please subscribe and share to the show. We greatly appreciate it. We're coming off of our most listened to episode ever. And just once again, for Jeremy and Steve Cook who do the podcast with me, we greatly appreciate it. Happy wrestling, everybody.